Halo Season 2 sucks. There's no other way to put it. It sucks. It's bad. It's boring. It is far worse than Season 1. And it hurts to say because I love Halo. Halo means so much to me. It's an important story. The games are so damn fun to play. I've been going through all of the campaigns lately. Nothing the show does ever touches the impact, the scope, the scale that these games have. It's sad. It's really sad. I've been drinking a little tonight, so I thought let's just talk about how bad Halo Season 2 is and get this review out of the way. I know that Season 2 had a different showrunner, and I can tell there were some things to make it seem more like the games. I'm going to talk about spoilers. It doesn't matter. No one cares about the show. They introduced the Flood in the last episode of the show, and I can appreciate that they're spores and that it's the very beginning of how the humans get infected. It was fine, but I had long stopped caring about anything happening in the show at that point. So I just didn't feel the impact that the Flood had. It just felt like there was so much at play, and the Flood doesn't really seem to have an impact on the show based on what Season 2 was going for. Like, what is the Flood going to do in the show at this point? Because the show has strayed so far away from what the games intended, and it's clear that higher executives who wanted to create the show didn't give a shit about the games. It's sad. It's sad because that's what Season 1 was, and Season 2 was kind of stuck with, okay, we got to kind of continue the story of Season 1, but also make the fans not super pissed off. And if you go on the Halo, the series Instagram page, you see everyone saying, oh my god, when is Season 3 coming? We need Season 3. Are these people for real? Did they really not see that Halo Season 2 was super fucking boring? Let's get a little focused here. Let's talk about the plot of Season 2. So let's talk about the end of Season 1. That being, the Covenant kind of finds out where the Halo ring is, but Master Chief stops it because Cortana takes over his body. And then Kai kills Makee. And then they leave, and then everyone's like, oh my god, Master Chief. He's not Master Chief because Cortana's in his body now. Like, Cortana took over his body to become the ultimate machine. Oh my god, what's going to happen next? And then Season 2 opens up like maybe 6 months later. They're trying to escort or extract people from some planet that's going to get glassed by the Covenant. And Master Chief doesn't have Cortana anymore. He got Cortana taken out of him. So there goes that, what could have been Master Chief and Cortana dealing with each other in his head in a momentary space. That's gone. They're just not together anymore. I do like the funny banter we get between the Spartans and Silver Team in episode 1. They're just talking about some stupid shit. They have some banter with each other because it took out their pills. The little inhibitor pills in their spine that stop them from feeling emotions. They have some banter. It's kind of funny. It gives them a little bit of a personality, and I appreciate that. But then everything gets all stupid when there's a bunch of shamans on the planet, and they're like, we're not going to leave because for some fucking reason, we're not going to leave. We'll die on this planet, and then we're going to somehow come back and later on in the show to give Quan a fucking vision about the Flood. For some fucking reason. It doesn't matter. But Master Chief is all upset because he doesn't have Cortana. He goes to some fucking weird place to, like, he pays this weird shady place to, like, recreate Cortana as a hologram. It's like some weird sex thing. And he's like, oh my god, I miss Cortana. I'm looking at this thing that kind of looks like Cortana. Oh my god. What the fuck is this? What is this? I get it if you're trying to go for, like, the Halo 4 vibes where Chief and Cortana have, like, a connection with each other, that more emotional connection with each other. But this is just fucking weird. Like, you can say they might have some sort of romance with each other through the games. I don't know. It doesn't seem that way, but go ahead, say it. I don't care. But what they do in this show is just so fucking weird with it. Especially when you look at Season 1 when Cortana's like seeing Master Chief have sex with Makee and commit a war crime. What the fuck? They bring in Ackerson in the Halo novels. I only know of him because I read the Fall of Reach book. Pretty good. Actually, it's a really good book. And Ackerson's kind of cool in this show. he has some decent motivations, and the actor who portrays him, who looks like Tom Brady, I think he did a good job. He probably did one of the best acting jobs in this entire show. Pablo Schreiber, I don't mind him as Master Chief at all. I think he fits the job pretty well. He does his best with what he's given. I don't mind him at all. It's just that there are some weird moments where they try to have like those Chief lines in the games, those one-liners, but it just comes off as cheesy and weird. But I like Ackerson as a character. He's kind of a villain, and then later on in the series, he has these motivations where he wants to do better for mankind, but then Parangoski comes back or something, and it turns out she's the ultimate villain. And it just seems kind of weird. It kind of downplays Ackerson because in the novel, it kind of seemed like he didn't like the Spartan program, and he has to kind of be involved with it somehow. And in this show, he's involved with it. He takes over the Spartan program for Catherine Halsey, who goes on some weird fucking trip and then gets arrested by the UNSC. It's the weird thing too that I'm pretty sure that season 2 would have been better if they just kept on with this stupid, weird, generic sci-fi story they try to go with in season 1. But they had a course correct, and just a bunch of weird shit happens in this show. They introduced this Marine Perez. She's interesting, but then the dumb thing she does where she doesn't tell everyone that there was a bunch of elites that popped up out of nowhere and then left. She was all like, oh my god, if I told them, they wouldn't believe me. Really? If you told people that, then they would have, known and prepared for the fall of Reach. Which was dumb because Master Chief's armor apparently records everything that happens via what happens in season 1. Unless they were supposed to say, hey, the helmets don't record everything anymore. I don't know. It's just stupid. And then, but they didn't also show Ackerson possibly looking at that footage if the footage was recorded from Master Chief's helmet still. And then further implying that he knew that there were a bunch of elites on Reach or something, but there were a bunch of elites and then they walked away because he saw McKee or something. And then the elites went away because they're preparing for an attack. Chief was all like, they're preparing. I saw the elites, but they didn't kill me because they're preparing. They're studying us. I don't know. And then Ackerson's like, I'm going to steal all of your guys' armor, and then I'm going to fuck off and leave everyone to die on Reach. We could evacuate everyone, but no. I don't know. And then the fall of Reach happens after a boring episode 3 for some fucking reason. Episode 3 is really boring. Everyone's just kind of, hey, what's going on? Oh my god. You know what? The first 2 episodes were at least good in season 2. They dropped the first 2 episodes of season 2. It was interesting. Riz, she gets injured or something, and she's trying to deal with being injured and being a Spartan and use her body in a more efficient way. She's trying to build herself back up. There's some interesting things with that, but it kind of fucks up, when they eject her character from the show. Kai just wants to be there for Chief because her character is just, she wants to be there for Chief. And then she just wants to fight as a Spartan. Vanek, he likes birds and animals because he watches the Animal Planet, apparently. It's kind of funny. It's funny because he's the gigantic big guy who just likes animals. It's funny. And then Chief is Chief from the Halo show. Not the Chief in the games because they wrote him weird. It's dumb. So the first 2 episodes of season 2 are at least okay. They're definitely an improvement from most episodes in season 1. They weren't super boring. We get a lot of Silver Team training and stuff. It's kind of cool. I like it. I like seeing Chief push the characters. He says, you got to try harder because the Covenant the Covenant are going to come. It's interesting to see Chief want to push his team like that. Without Cortana being there. He wants to push everyone. If only there was more of that in the show, more of humanity having to resolve and fight the giant battle. We don't get much of that. Most of the shows are super fucking boring. Episode 3 is really boring. It's just like, hey, Chief, you're going crazy. You're gonna be out of action for a while, and then we're gonna steal your armor, and then the fall of Reach happens. And the fall of Reach is so damn disappointing. You know why? It lasts 1 fucking episode. One episode. There's a whole fucking game dedicated to Reach. There's a whole ass novel called The Fall of Reach. And we only get 1 episode for The Fall of Reach? It's fucking embarrassing. Come on. And I don't care if you didn't have the budget for it. Stretch the dollar out. You know what the creator did? It stretched the dollar to its maximum limit. It stretched the dollar out because that movie looks fucking incredible. The show looks good, but I'm sure most of the budget went to certain special effects in the Fall of Reach episode and the actor's salary. Because the rest of the show is just characters standing and talking and not doing much. The Fall of Reach. You could have made it half the season. You could have made it the whole damn season. Like, communication is blocked off from Reach and they can't do anything about it. So they gotta fight the Covenant so they can at least send a message out to the rest of the UNSC. I don't know. Fuck. It's sad. And it doesn't help that most of the action in the Fall of Reach is just close-ups of the human characters shooting their guns without seeing much of the Covenant. Like, we see some Covenant fire and then Chief fights an elite, and then you see some wonky CGI when he like tackles the elite because the elite is a giant CG character. And you have to make sure like Chief's arm doesn't like morph through the elite's body, you know, when they're editing and doing all the CG work. It just looked a little wonky. There are some moments that are at least interesting and fun. You know, there's a bunch of cool action. They shoot guns, there's explosions and stuff, and apparently all of the military work when they're going through hallways and stuff is accurate from what I was able to tell based on people commenting on it and whatnot. It seems like they trained a lot to make that stuff look accurate. But it doesn't help when most of the show, or most of this episode, the Fall of Reach episode, is them just being close up to them shooting guns and stuff, or mediums of them shooting guns and stuff, and not seeing them like actually take on the Covenant. We don't see the Covenant falling most of the time. You know, we get some shots of Covenant falling and dying and stuff, but it doesn't feel impactful that, oh my god, Reach fell and that humanity is at stake. Like how it did in the game. Or the book. Come on. So, Keyes sacrifices himself in the end of episode 3 or episode 4. You know, he was at least an entertaining character, mainly because the actor portraying him had a little bit of charisma to him. So Keyes is dead. That sucks. So Miranda has to kind of take his place, I guess. Miranda is interesting because the actress portraying her is, you know, has a little bit of charisma. Halsey is kind of boring in this season. She's just kind of boring. I don't care. And then the rest of the show is just super fucking boring. McKee is back. They don't explain how McKee came back. It's dumb because McKee just miraculously shows up. If I remember correctly, she was shot with a sniper rifle at the end of season 1. They don't explain how she came back. There's no scene of her body, you know, being worked on by Covenant doctors or whatever. She's just back. And it's dumb. And I didn't like the McKee character. So her being back is stupid. And then there's an Arbiter in the show. Arbiter is a very famous character in the Halo series. In the video games, he's a cool character. I love him. But this isn't Thel 'Vadam in the games. He's someone else. I don't remember the name. It didn't stick with me. And he doesn't have a connection with Chief like Arbiter is supposed to have. I don't know if they're ever going to introduce Thel 'Vadam in the series. Well, I don't know if the series is ever going to continue because not only was Halo canceled after their second season and they're trying to shop it off, but the Paramount TV division apparently is all shut down. So I don't think we're ever going to get Halo Season 3. And that might be for the best because this show was fucking disappointing. McKee's back. There's Arbiter. It doesn't really matter. The Arbiter character doesn't really matter. It's not like he has a connection with Chief at all. It's not like, hey, something happened and I want to get revenge on Chief. He's just like, oh, I'm going to kill humans. And we got to find the ring. And then Cortana's back. She's working with Parangoski or something. And then at the end, she like helps Chief. And then she goes with Chief. It's been a while since I've seen the show. But I at least remember more from season 1. Because there were at least some interesting things in season 1. I didn't like the first 2 episodes of season 2. But that's kind of it. I didn't even like the Fall of Reach episode. Yeah, it was cool to see guns shooting stuff and some explosions and stuff. But most of it was dumb. The season two trailer kind of lied to us. It was like, oh, humanity is gonna fall, but humanity is gonna rise because we're humans and we're gonna not let the Covenant kill us. We don't feel that resolve humanity has to fight back against the Covenant. Being outnumbered, both in numbers and technology. We don't feel that resolve in the show at all. It's dumb. We get moments of Chief being like, we can't give up, but then everyone around him just gives up. Vanek dies. That sucks. I liked Vanek. He was interesting. Big, bulky character. I liked his EOD helmet. He was cool. It sucked that he dies. And then Chief's like, hey, we don't bury him because, he was a Spartan. We're not going to bury him. And then Quan. Oh, yeah, Quan's back in the show. They kind of drop the plot line for Madrigal. Apparently, Madrigal got glassed. So I guess we're never going to go back to the portal world or something that was on Madrigal to get to a foreigner structure or something based on her vision in season 1. That whole episode 7, plot. We're never going to get that again because Madrigal is glassed. And then Quan's like an indentured servant or something on the rubble. And in the first episode, we get some girl riding some guy's back because they're fighting to become who will become a slave and who will get killed or thrown out or something. I don't know. It's not Halo. It's not fucking Halo. That was the most out of place shit in this show. It was stupid. It was more out of place than Master Chief being naked and having sex in season 1. It's fucking ridiculous. God, I didn't want to fucking make this video. It's so fucking sad what this show is. And there's everyone going, oh my god, the show is so good. Better than season 1. No, it's not better. It's so boring. It's much boring than season 1. Fuck. Oh my god. I want to make a Halo movie in the future. I want to do this series justice. Even if I have to create my own original story in Halo, I will make it feel more like Halo than these shows ever did. I still think the best episode in the Halo series was season 1, episode 5. That was just cool. Everything else is just mediocre or bad. What else can I say in the show? I'm just talking about spoilers and going through the whole series, talking about all the stupid things that happened in the show. Yeah, Quan, she fights someone so she can leave indentured servitude. And then she's talking to Soren's wife. I'm not going to look up her name because she's so fucking boring. She's just all like, hey, or actually Soren this guy talks to Soren like, hey, I know where to find Catherine Halsey. And he takes him up on the offer, but then he gets arrested by the UNSC because he's a runaway Spartan, basically. So Soren's wife is in trouble because some people who I guess Soren owes money to or whatever, they're all like his crew. They're like, hey, we're waiting for Soren, and then they're just gonna like kidnap her and kill her or something. And then she's like, hey, take my son. She's talking to Quan. Take my son and go away. But then she doesn't listen. She fucking leaves the son on a ship to go and save Soren's wife. I'm not gonna look her name up because her character is so fucking boring. And then the son, Kessel or something. His name is Kessel. I'm gonna call him Kessel. He leaves on the ship to go to some bumfuck planet somewhere. And then Quan and Soren's wife, they go to Reach. Do they go to Reach or do they meet Chief on the planet where they end up going after Reach or something? Because because Soren escapes from this weird prison thing. Because Ackerson's all like, hey, Catherine Halsey, you're in this simulation where you see my dead sister or something. Which is interesting. I guess Ackerson's sister was a failed Spartan who died. So that's kind of interesting that he has this resentment towards Halsey and kind of has a resentment towards the Spartan 2 program, to which forces him to make the Spartan 3 program. That's at least kind of interesting. So anyways, I guess during the fall of Reach, Soren and Halsey escape. Quan's there. I don't remember how she showed up. Like, I promise, I remember more from season 1 than season 2. That's how fucking boring this show is. And I reviewed season 1 like a year after it finished airing. I'm reviewing season 2 some months after it finished airing. And I don't remember much from it because it's so fucking boring. So anyways, they go to some fucking planet, and then Soren and Soren's wife like, hey, Kessel was here Some guy there was like, oh, I don't know if he was here. He's in the logs, but he must have been purchased. So Soren's wife pretends to be intimidating to some guy, and then they go find him, and then it turns out they're talking to some lesbian couple, and they're like, hey, he's our kid, but then it's not him actually. Then it turns out that he gets kidnapped by the UNSC to become a Spartan and go through Spartan training or something. And then this is the dumbest thing in the show, I think. Soren, they go to rescue him from some fucking planet called Onyx or something. I don't remember. He's like, hey, Kessel's gonna go under Spartan training. And early in the show, he's like, hey, I did all this so you didn't have to go through what I had to go through. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, I think it's good that Kessel goes through this stuff to learn how rough the world is. And then he changes his mind like 2 seconds later when his wife gets pissed off at him. And then his wife like gets turned into a flood or something at the end. Like, it's that stupid trope where they escape flood and then she's like, oh my god, I actually got scratched. And then she like fucking closes the door behind them. And then she's like, hey, escape while I get turned to a flood. It's fucking stupid. It's also stupid that Soren's all like, hey, I didn't want this life for my son, but all of a sudden, I think it's good for him to go through the Spartan training program, go through the hell that I went through as a child. It'll be good for him. Fuck off. Stupid writing. Not lazy writing, not bad writing, stupid writing. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say the show is a shit show. I wanted to stop. The only thing that kept me going was hoping that the season finale would have been cool, and it was kind of lame. Let's get to that. Cortana somehow talks to Makee on the ship, fucking light years away or whatever. She's like, hey, I'll show you where the Halo ring is. For some fucking reason, I don't remember. She shows her where the Halo ring is. I think the Arbiter stole something that was able to contact Cortana or something. I don't fucking know. And then the Covenant go to the ring. Master Chief and the rest of the Spartan 3s go to the ring. Also, Perez is a Spartan 3 for some reason. Remember Perez, the person who was very much involved with Master Chief and knows the story about the Covenant, fleeing, a bunch of elite fleeing away? Yeah, she's a Spartan 3 all of a sudden. Ackerson knows that she was there. She knows her story, basically. But suddenly he just makes her Spartan 3. She was on the Fall of Reach. She escaped the Fall of Reach, if you don't remember. She escaped the Fall of Reach. She knows what happened. She knows that the UNSC abandoned everyone on the Fall of Reach. She knows that Ackerson left. But all of a sudden, no, she's a Spartan 3. So Perengoski has this plan. Hey, there's going to be a Covenant cruiser somewhere. A Covenant Corvette, something. We're gonna make the Spartan 3s go into this training mission. And the fight scenes at least look cool in these training simulations. And also when they invade the Covenant ship. It just sucks that we don't see much of the Covenant. We just see close-ups and mediums of the Spartans. Maybe they didn't have the budget to CG the elites and the Covenant. So it's just a lot of the Spartans shooting their guns like that. And it gets kind of lame after a while. I don't give a shit that we saw Perez dual-wielding needlers at the end. It sucks when we don't see the Covenant it hits or kills or whatever. So anyways, Perengoski has this plan to implant this spike in a Covenant ship or whatever, and it fucking blows up everything. It fucking blows up all the Covenant ships and kills everyone. It's just supposed to make her character more evil, and then when the Flood overtake her body at the end, it's supposed to be like, oh, she's bad, and then she's going to be like the Hive Mind or something, the Grave Mind or something. Because she has all this knowledge of the human knowledge, and the Flood will use that to infiltrate other planets or something. I don't give a shit. Oh yeah. So when fucking Chief, oh wait, hold on. When Chief and the rest of Silver Team, that being Chief and Riz, because Kai left with Ackerson so she can be a Spartan longer. And when she knew she would leave everyone behind when the Fall of Reach was going to happen. Yeah, great character. Great character. So she leaves everyone behind. She goes to train the Spartan 3s. The Master Chief with the dead body of Riz. Halsey. No, the dead body of Vanek. The injured body of Riz, because she's like, hey, I got to go save Vanek because he got stabbed with a fucking needler shard. I got to go save him. And it's a stupid slow motion shot of him on her back. She's like, "Ah," and then she gets shot in the back, and then she's like fucking all fucked up. She suddenly decides, hey, I'm gonna become a farmer. I know humanity's at stake, but I'm gonna become a farmer. Not bad writing, stupid writing. Very stupid writing. So Chief's basically the only Spartan left, kind of. The only competent Spartan. Because a lot of the Spartan 3s just die on this mission at the end of the show. So anyways, he doesn't want to bury Vanek. And then Quan's like, you have to bury Vanek. He deserves a burial. You have to face your emotions. And Chief's just like, I don't want to face my emotions because I'm supposed to be a machine. I'm supposed to be a robot. Quan keeps getting these visions from the shaman from the first episode. And then she gets a vision at the end of the show, like, "Hey, this is the flood. We're stopping them for a second." What? How are these dead shaman people stopping the flood from killing Quan in the very last episode? Like, she's surrounded by them, and all of a sudden, the shaman somehow stopped the flood from killing her. Stupid writing, very stupid writing. So, what the fuck else happens in this stupid show? Riz is like, I'm gonna become a farmer because my body's injured, and I get it, because in the beginning of the show when her body was injured, she was talking to I can't remember the guy's name. Really good actor. He was in Dune and Civil War recently. Really good actor. He's just saying, he's giving her tips on how to be herself. He was like a failed blind Spartan. But he was giving her tips on, just being yourself or whatever, and living and stuff. It was interesting, but it's kind of dumb when we're in this big moment in the show where humanity and the rest of the universe is at stake, because if the Halo ring is activated, everyone fucking dies. So it kind of sucks when you're just like, hey, I'm gonna give up and be a farmer. So in episode 7 or something, or the second to last episode, Quan, Miranda, and Halsey, they're walking on this foreigner structure or something. Quan's all like, or Miranda's like, hey, we're trying to solve this puzzle. And Quan's like, I've seen this in a vision or something. She moves some balls around on this wall and it opens up a foreigner structure. And then there's a light bridge. It's supposed to be cool because it's a foreigner bridge or whatever. And then they find this small little thing. They take it away. Miranda's looking at it, but it releases spores that turns people into flood, because I guess the foreigner were stupid enough to not study the flood on planets and stuff. Because the flood were, in the games at least, were housed on the rings for study. So they can find a way to hopefully kill them without, killing all the food source in the universe. Because that's what the Halo rings are. It kills all life that isn't the flood, and the flood die of starvation, hopefully. So for some fucking reason, and I don't know if it's explained in other books or certain background mentions in games or whatever, but for some fucking reason, they're just studying them on some planet and not a ring. And so when they look at this thing that releases flood spore, it infects everyone. They turn into stupid zombie things and start killing everyone. It looks, I guess it's fine. I guess the flood looked kind of fine. But at the point of the show, I just didn't give a shit. I don't think they mean anything to the story. They're not scary. I don't remember them playing the flood theme that you hear in Combat Evolved or 2 or 3 or whatever. It's just dumb. I didn't give a shit. And it also didn't help that they didn't look like flood. They just looked like human zombies. Like, I don't remember if they had claw things hanging off of them. They just looked like stupid zombies. It wasn't impactful. It didn't feel like the flood because they didn't have all the extra shit hanging off of them or whatever. I didn't care anymore at this point in the show because the flood was introduced in the season finale of season 2. What else can I fucking say? I guess the action was fine in the show. The show looked good. There were some good CG moments. The season 2 trailers lied to us, thinking that it would be much bigger. Maquis being back is stupid. Ackerson was probably the best part of season 2. Pablo Schreiber did his best. The actors do their best with what they're given. They have to recourse from the shit show that was season 1, which I still think is better than season 2. Season 2 was just infinitely worse. It drops a lot of the things season 1 was setting up, but also just does its own things super terribly bad. So I guess Catherine Halsey is infected with the flood, but Miranda's like, I'm gonna freeze you so that I can find a cure for the flood. It's so fucking stupid. What? No. No. She's infected. Just make her the fucking Gravemind or whatever. If that's what you want to do. No, Perrin Goss is going to be the Gravemind, I guess, because she's super fucking smart and knows everything about the UNSC. And Oni, whatever. No, but no, we're going to freeze Catherine Halsey because we want to use her later in the show. We don't want to kill her off just yet. We'll kill off the Spartans. We'll kill Vanek and let Riz be a farmer. And possibly Kai is dead for some reason, maybe. Maybe she's not, even though her body's just fucking floating in space, dead. But she kind of twitches, so she might be alive. No, let's just keep Catherine Halsey as a fucking frozen popsicle. So in case we find a cure for the flood. You're not finding a cure for that shit. Fuck off, show. God damn. What else can I say? There's this scene in the final episode where Master Chief gets on the Covenant Corvette or something. He I guess he crashes the ship or something onto the ring. He and Arbiter fight in a okay fight scene, I guess. It's supposed to be a oneer, but you can tell, the difference between what's a real body and what's a CG body. And then he kills Arbiter, and then Maquis on the ring, and she's like, hey, I'm going to go set off the ring or whatever. I'm going to learn the secrets of the ring or whatever. I don't remember if we get much of the Prophets in this show, or in season 2. I don't remember much of it. But then we hear this weird voice in the beginning of the episode of the season 2 finale, and it turns out it's 343 Guilty Spark, but he looks fucking stupid. He doesn't look like a regular Oracle, or at least even the Oracle in the fucking Quan Vision in episode 7 of season 1. He has all these weird shit on his head. It's stupid. And then he doesn't sound like 343 Guilty Spark. He doesn't have that metallic filter on his voice. He just kind of sounds like this. Like he's supposed to be minimalistic and threatening. I'll see you there, Chief. And then I guess Master Chief has like some shit broken on his visor, and then he puts his helmet on at the end of the episode, and it's supposed to be cool because his visor's broken. You see his eye and shit. I had mentioned something before, like, not in this video, in elsewhere, or probably to myself, like, hey, he's not supposed to have that broken piece there already, or I thought the broken piece was on the other side of the face, or something. I don't fucking know. That's kind of it. I'm done ranting about this shit show. Season 2 fucking sucks. There's no other way to admit it. It was fucking disappointing. I wasted my time watching this shit show. I'm giving this season a D. It's fucking terrible. I thought the first 2 episodes were at least good enough to keep me invested, to think that, maybe they did do a good course correct. Maybe the show is going to be interesting. No, they fucked up the Fall of Reach. It's just disappointing. That's it. Have you seen Halo Season 2? Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about it. Share with a friend. Yada yada. Do all that shit. Do you like Halo as a whole? Game, shows, books, whatever. Okay, that's it. Bye.